Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Zach. Today we're going to be going over our new RI integration. There's been some big changes with the RI integration, and we're going to be going over how you set it up and what gets synchronized and all of the new settings and interfaces. So the very first thing you need to do to start to even be able to integrate with Rotary International is to go over to Rotary.org and make some changes. So at Rotary.org, you'll need to go there. You'll need to log in, and after you get logged in, you'll be able to get into the thing. The really important thing to note is that only the following three positions can make this change: President, Secretary, the Executive Secretary / the Executive Director. If you are not one of those three people in the current year, you cannot turn this option on or off. You'll have to go talk to those people to help you get it to turn on. But otherwise, as long as you're the President, Secretary, the Executive Secretary / Executive Director, you can log into Rotary.org and you can make this change. So the first thing you're going to do is log in. After you get logged in, on the menu bar, you're going to choose Manage. On the Manage sub-menu bar, you're going to choose Club Administration. And then under Club and Member Data, you're going to Club and Member Data, Update Club Data, Edit Partner Organization. So there are two cases here. Case one is you may or may not have another partner organization, or ClubRunner may already be in there, or if there's nothing, you're going to add it. So you either need to edit the current one to set it to ClubRunner, or add a new one and set it as ClubRunner. There are some terms and conditions. You're going to choose the partner organization as ClubRunner, agree to the terms and conditions, and then you'll see that it got added. There is up to a 24-hour delay from the time that you opt in to the time that you can turn on that integration in ClubRunner. So I'm going to switch over to our ClubRunner administration area, and we're going to go through that. So here is our ClubRunner website. We're already logged in, so I'm going to go ahead and click on the member area. And now that I'm logged into the ClubRunner administration area, I'm going to click on the RI integration tab, and I'm going to click RI integration settings. This is the same screen that you'll see. Usually for a lot of clubs this is already checked, but for us here it is not. So these instructions here go over the exact same information that you would have seen when you were doing your changes over at Rotary International. Since it has seen that we've turned on our integration, we can check the box, and as soon as we check the box, it enables it. So integration for our club is now turned on. It's also really important to note that there are some privacy settings. So the only thing that Rotary International absolutely enforces that has to be on is the name. So that's your first name and your last name. You can turn off all of these other settings: birthday, home address, business address, home phone, cell phone, business phone, home fax, business fax, and primary email. So in some cases, some clubs will opt out of everything. We obviously don't recommend that, but the other thing to note is that your individual club members can choose to also opt out of any one of these individual things if they don't want it as well. This is the global setting. So if you opt out on the global setting, your club members cannot opt in, but if you are opted in, your club members can choose to opt out. If you opt out, you're opting out for the club. The other really important thing to note about the RI integration is that once it's turned on, it only sends new changes. So anything that I did before today is in ClubRunner, but it may or may not be in Rotary depending on a number of factors. Usually the member also going over to Rotary International and updating it, which in most cases is not the case. So what we can take advantage of here is our compare and synchronize tool. So this is always going to be under the RI integration tab for your club subscription. If you're using the district, there's a very similar way to get into all of that, and that'll be covered in a different webinar. The screens themselves will be nearly identical. So the compare and synchronize is fantastic. What it does is it actually takes all of your ClubRunner information, takes all of your Rotary International information and compares the two. So here are all of our records in this first list. These are the members that are matching in ClubRunner and at RI. These members are more or less in sync. New changes that are made on, like Joseph, a sponsor, would go over to Rotary International immediately. These are the members that are mismatched. So there's a difference between what ClubRunner has and what Rotary International has. These are members that are missing. These are members that are in ClubRunner but have no records in Rotary International. And we also have members in Rotary International that are not in ClubRunner. Now, from time to time, members will be both in the missing in RI list and missing in ClubRunner list. 99% of the time, the Rotary ID is incorrect. All you would have to do is copy the Rotary ID that is listed on Rotary, and then you could go into a member's profile and add it onto their Rotary ID. So we're just going to go ahead and do this for this member here. Just going to show you the process. So we're clicking on the member's name. That's going to take us to their profile. And from here, I can go to their Rotary tab, and then I can click Edit. I can paste that Rotary ID in that I copied from that other member. And if this was the right member and I hit Saved, they'd now be updated and things would be working. I'm not going to do that because this member isn't actually set up this way. So we're going to go back to the RI integration to compare and synchronize. Want to show off a couple other things before we move on to the next section. So here we are back in here. If you had a member who was in ClubRunner but wasn't over at Rotary International for some reason, so ClubRunner members missing an RI, for some reason something didn't happen, you can click this Add to RI link. It will send another request to Rotary International to process adding that member. Should only do that if they're not listed in both lists. Conversely, if you have a member who's over in Rotary who for some reason isn't in ClubRunner, you can click Add Member to ClubRunner. It will grab the information from Rotary International and add it to ClubRunner. In a perfect scenario, the only list that you guys will ever see is ClubRunner members matched at RI, and with a little bit of time and effort, that is the case for almost, not all, but a very large percentage of our clubs will only have this list. Now, one of the things that's really nice is sometimes before you've turned on the integration, some of your members are more updated on ClubRunner than they are on Rotary International, for example. And in this specific case, we're going to take a look at Joseph, a sponsor here. So Joe has this little asterisk, and this asterisk, which is explained, used to be explained down at the bottom. Here it is. It's up at the top. So members who have the asterisk, it means that their name does not match what's actually in Rotary International. So we're going to take a look at Joseph, a sponsor, and we're going to go ahead and hit Show. This is going to let us compare the member. So at this point, what's happening is ClubRunner, we're downloading all the individual information about this member and we're comparing it to what we have. So looking at this, we can see that in ClubRunner, we have Joseph, a sponsor. We have his phone. All these little equal sign means it's matched. Now what is wrong is in ClubRunner, we have his full and complete name, but in Rotary International, he has a short name. Now we know that he prefers to go by Joe, but his real legal name is Joseph. So when you see the arrow pointing to the orange to the Rotary International, if we go down to the bottom and click Synchronize, it will send this information, what's in ClubRunner, over to Rotary International. If we want to pull the Rotary International information, we can click on the arrow, and now you'll see that it's blue. This means it'll pull the information from Rotary over to ClubRunner. So in this case, I'm going to push Joe's name over to Rotary. It's going to ask me, sure. I mean, you can undo, you can't just undo it through here, but you can go edit the member's profile and set it back to Joe. Or Joe could come back and do his profile and fix it. So now Joe's all fixed up. He's Joseph in both places. All of his other information is ideal. It's perfect. There's no problems. The last thing I'm going to show off here under the RI integration is the updates archive. If you're curious the changes that your members have been making or anyone else has been making, you can come in here and you can see all the changes. Now, this is our test club, so we've been making a lot of changes more recently. And so I can choose name change, and let's look from the last day, last 2 days anyway. So this is the one that I just did right here. We can click on details, and we can see that it was Joe, and the new data is Joseph. It would show for any of the other updates like this. You can select any of the integration types that we support: member's address, birthday, classification, club, email, fax, mailing address, meeting information, all this stuff. This all currently synchronizes. And if they change any of this information, including terminating members, update termination, changing their meetings, etc., all that stuff, that'll all be recorded here. So any of these different types. So if you want to look at something specific to see if anybody changed anything in a recent period of time, you can do that. The other nice thing is instead of searching by event type, if you want to search for all the information that's been changed about poor Joe over here, where is our Joe? He's not showing up. Either way, you can choose any of the members and take a look at their information in any period of time. So I can go back to like 2010 and hit show. And any changes that have been made to him will show up. And as you can see, this user has a fair number of changes. So that is the majority of our integration tutorial, at least for today. I know we're going to have some more updates in the near future, and we hope to be able to show those off.